is her teeth wiggling? No, seriously, this girl says, I think my teeth are broken. What's going on with me? And you guys tagged me a bunch saying this. Why the heck is her teeth moving? Okay, I thought braces were supposed to straighten them up, not make them all wibbly jibbly. Well, what if I told you that that's actually kind of the point? And then the fact that her teeth are moving means that her braces are working. You see, because to straighten up your teeth, we have to move them through the bone. That's right, your teeth have to move through the bone. And the way it works is through these things called PDL fibers. These fibers are like little bungee cords attached to your teeth everywhere. And when they push to one side, it actually dissolves the bone to make them tight again. And then the one that's really tight, it actually grows bone on the other side, moving it through the bone, almost digging away at one side and regrowing it back behind it. And in early stages, when we have severe crowding on somebody, if we're turning and moving and everything like this, that bone has not really caught up yet. And so yes, you can wiggle and that tooth is actually movable. In fact, the first time I saw this, whenever I was in dental school, I was in my orthodontist residency, and I pulled out somebody my first time, and one of their back teeth was literally like moving up and down when I took the wire out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm ruining this person's teeth. And then finally I figured out, no, that is completely normal, and it's totally okay. Now, once we get into the bigger wires and they're set for a while, that bone will regrow. Actually, this is why we have you wear retainers for 3 months straight, because we want that bone to reform and solidify those teeth so they're not so wiggly biggly on their own. Let's see what they said in the comments. Someone said, this is how my crazy teeth falling out dreams start. And actually, it could be, weirdly enough, maybe it connects to your brain and makes you dream about it or whatever, but it's actually a really common dream to have teeth falling out. Someone said, yo, don't scare me, I just got braces. And like I said, nothing to be scared about. Now, I wouldn't overly go crazy, be doing this over and over and over again, because you can cause issues if you just continue to play with it and mess with it like that. But overall, not a problem at all. Doesn't mean it's not a crazy party trick though.
I don't think people are realizing how serious this whole I do braces discourse is. That's your skull. This is in your skull. Like, it's way deeper than what it is. Like, that's literally, they're moving the bones in your skull. Seriously.
Okay, so at first I had no idea what she was talking about, and then I looked up this I do braces, and I'm not gonna lie, I can totally see where she's coming from. So basically, this girl is one of multiple people in my lifetime of educating you guys over the past 7 years who is doing what we call basement braces. Unfortunately, this girl is going a little bit above and beyond. I looked into some of her stuff, and it's pretty scary, I'm not gonna lie. She's doing like full braces on crazy crowded people, putting power chains on them instantly, putting them in wires they're not supposed to be, doing all this crazy stuff with God knows what hygiene status there, because I do not even want to get into that. But unfortunately, this is really insane. And in fact, there was even a video where she was like, I don't understand, people are doing everything they're not supposed to be doing all the time. Why can't I be doing stuff that I'm not supposed to be doing? Why is it a problem when I do it? And it's because you could literally harm people and really ruin their entire mouth. You could actually cause them to lose all their teeth if you're doing this wrong. I mean, there's a reason why I have a master's in craniofacial growth and development, and why I even went out of dental school and in residency still didn't know what I was doing. So I was even a dentist and still didn't even know what I was doing. I had to go through residency to figure this stuff out. Needless to say, it is actually insane that people are doing this, but I don't know, what does this tell us about the world? Does this tell us that economic times have gotten so hard that people have to go to a basement braces person to get their dreams done? Maybe so, and maybe we need to do a better job trying to get prices down, which we're actually trying to do right now with our Windcrest Orthodontics. We're trying to be the most affordable orthodontics care in the world eventually one day. But until then, please, please, please do not go to these people that tout and do all this type of stuff, because I promise you, your teeth are not something to play with. If you move teeth too fast, the bone will dissolve around that tooth, and that tooth will eventually just fall out. Not only that, but if you're putting too much pressure on, you can cause the roots to dissolve on your teeth and start to shorten this way, causing the length of your entire mouth's teeth to go down. Then you're gonna have to get dentures, you're gonna have to get implants, you're gonna do all this stuff that's way more expensive than God knows how much you're paying to get some basement braces from I Do Braces over here. Now, obviously, she's probably gonna get found out by, police and everything like this. She's probably gonna get arrested, because this is a literal like felony. You can't impersonate a doctor, you can't do medical stuff under the guise of just, I said so, I want to do this. And she's touting it online and like making ads about it online, which is kind of crazy. But I don't know, let's see what the people in the comments have to say. This is exactly right. Janae says, the idea of basement braces even reaching any level of success truly scares me. That's kind of what I was saying. I was like, man, is the economy really that bad? Hint, it is getting pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. But still, I mean, to a point that you have to go do this is kind of insane. And then Taylor says kind of what I was saying. Regular dentists can't even do braces. That's a specialty. Braces are that serious. And that's what I was saying. When I came out of dental school, I knew jack squat about braces. And to be able to do it, it even took me 2.5 years to get comfortable with doing it on my own in residency. And Ash says, that's why braces are called orthodontics. Ortho is in bones. And he's not wrong. Those teeth are moving through your bone. It's moving through your jawbone. And if you're moving too fast, that bone is going to dissolve and those teeth are going to fall out. Not to mention a bunch of other things. She could be causing infections in the teeth. They could not be cleaning them. They could have cavities. She's putting braces over the top of them, and then now you're getting an infection and a disease, and if that disease goes up through your cavernous sinus, through your skull, you could literally die. It is important. I mean, I laugh, but this is all really serious. And apparently she's even traveling across state lines. You could pay her to fly to you and do this stuff. That's insane. I don't know. What do you guys think down below? Let me know, because this is pretty wild. All right, what do we got here? Oh, I think I know where this is going. Oh yeah, getting a rubber band trick. The caption says, "Is this too much?" That is a lot of rubber bands already. Oh my gosh, they're still going. He's probably thinking in my head, he's like, you tell me I got to remember where all these go? I can barely remember how to do one rubber band. You're giving me 25,000. But further, you guys actually tagged me for a reason other than the rubber bands. I mean, some of you guys were like, is this really real? You wear this many rubber bands with braces? That doesn't make much sense. But actually, most of you were asking me, why the heck are his braces up so high? And if you go back to the beginning, you can actually see what they're talking about. So they're talking about those braces are way up here, and majority of his teeth is actually hanging down below. And so the question is this normal? And the answer is kinda normal. You see, just like there's tons of ways to do anything else and people have different beliefs about stuff, well, in braces is the same way. And the crazy part is that you can line teeth up in a perfect straight line with brackets. If you put those brackets in the same spot on every tooth all the way across and it creates a straight line, those teeth will be straight in the areas that you want. Now you can have this line directly in the center of the tooth, you can have it directly on the edges of the teeth, or you could have them directly at the top of the teeth. But as long as those all line up perfectly with the teeth below, it will create a perfect bite. Now, this is called the smile arc placement. It's a smile arc way of doing braces. And what they believe is that if you put them at the very top here and you go perfectly aligned, yes, it will line it up, but because the center of the tooth, so you have this root and then you have the tooth, right? If you put it directly as close as you can to the center, the torque and stuff on those brackets will actually work better. And so they place those brackets super high up on purpose. Now, another benefit of this, and actually I've gotten braces with this technique on myself before when I was in residency. I did it for like 6 months to try it out. And actually one of the benefits I had was when I smiled, you couldn't see my braces because they were covered by my lip. Now, another negative for this is it makes it really, really hard for most people because it's up in your gums and it's hard to clean the gums. It's hard to floss around it because it's so high up. And another issue is a lot of the times people's gums are covering a lot of their teeth. And so if you want to get it up there, you're trying to have to like push these brackets up into the gum tissue and it just doesn't work out that well. So that's why most of us put the brackets on the center of the tooth and follow that theory, is so we don't have to like jam stuff up in the gums and have all the issues that come along with this smile arc placement. And as for the rubber bands, well, they're probably just messing around for a video because I've never seen that before. I mean, sometimes you can have finishing rubber bands that kind of go up and down like that and sock the teeth in, but the way that they're doing it, I don't think anybody's really doing that. I mean, it almost looked like it was giving like a class 2 for an overbite look, but just really it doesn't make any sense. And they're laughing about it, so it probably has nothing to do with the rubber bands at all. But I don't know, let me know. Would you like your braces high up like that? And would you wear rubber bands like that? I don't know if I would. All right, you guys tag me in this. What do we got here? Ooh, I know exactly. Man, I can literally feel the pain just looking at that thing. Oh my gosh. What we're looking at directly live right now is actually what's called an ulcer or a canker sore. Now this can happen for a bunch of different reasons, but normally it happens from trauma, aka you chewed on something and maybe you hit a chip or something like that and it cuts your lip, or in this case we see it sometime in braces. And when you get these braces, things like that little hook that you see poking out there will start to damage that lip and cause that ulcer. Now these are really painful, and so the way that you would deal with this is you would ball up some wax and you would put it on there, and you would have to keep it on there for about 10 days as that ulcer took its course and healed up. Now you can get these on the soft tissue area anywhere. You can even get them on the tongue and stuff underneath. But if it's on the hard tissue area, if you see something very similar but it's on the harder area of the gum tissue, which we call the attached gingiva, that is actually a herpetic sore. That is more like a cold sore. That is the stuff that is on your lips. This is actually an aphthous ulcer, which is on the soft tissue or the loose tissue there. And this will just have to heal up in 10 days, and there's not really anything you can do about it. You can do warm salt water rinses to help. You can add some wax on there to help it be a little bit cleaner, but luckily the gum tissue will toughen up over time and you'll have less and less of these issues as you go through your braces journey. But until then, yes, it is really annoying. Oh my gosh, it says best solution, salt. Do not pour salt on that thing. There actually used to be these things called septic pencils that you would actually like put on there and it would like acid cauterize them. Don't do those either. That actually just damages. There's nothing you can really do to make these go away. You can actually take some lysine as a supplement over long periods of time, and supposedly that helps a little bit, but really there's nothing you can really do other than just wait 10 days. And then Candace has a funny picture there, because I totally agree. When you touch one of these, if you have these, you understand the second you touch them, man, ooh, when you're eating or something and it brushes up, you're like, oh, it hurts so bad. And it looks like everybody else agrees. Yes, they are painful, but they will go away eventually, and it is not forever. You just got really unlucky with this situation with the braces.
Okay, you guys, this is an absolute
Orthodontist
disaster.
explains this
This
viral.
can happen to you if you go to someone who does not know the principles of moving teeth. Okay, you guys, this is an absolute disaster. This can happen to you.
That is an absolute
if you go to
disaster.
someone who
Holy
does not
moly. So I looked and I couldn't find the original video here, but this is what we were just talking about, basement braces earlier, you know, where we have people doing untrained dentistry that don't know what they're doing. And this is something that could actually happen if you went to somebody with an untrained dentist situation. And it's crazy this actually popped up at the same time. You guys tagged me in this saying, what the heck is going on here? And so what is actually happening is people's brackets and braces, you know, a lot of people don't know there is a prescription in the bracket. There is a tilt, torque, and tip that is specifically in every bracket in your mouth to make them all fit and tilt to be the exact same place that we want them to be for a perfect smile. Now, because these are prescription, just like if I gave you prescription lenses for your eyes, I can give you the wrong prescription and it can harm the area, right? If I give you way too much prescription, everything's gonna be blurry and you're gonna start getting headaches and all this type of stuff. Well, unfortunately, some people can mess some stuff up. And if this happens here, normally what they did was they put the prescription upside down. So if you put the bottom brackets on the top brackets or bracket, or you just flip them upside down on accident and you don't know what you're doing, instead of tilting the tooth this way, well, it's now going to tilt the tooth this way. And that's exactly what probably happened on these front teeth, is they accidentally flipped all the brackets and put them all upside down on the top. And so instead of torquing them inward like they're supposed to, it torqued them way outward. And so much so that unfortunately this person will probably lose these teeth if they are not immediately torqued in the opposite direction again. I mean, you can actually literally see that premolar sticking out complete sideways. And so what do you do here? Well, first you got to take all these brackets off, every one of these teeth that has a bracket on there, because you don't know if it was just an issue with the bracket manufacturer or if it was something you did on your own or whatever it is. More than likely it was basement braces doing this, but regardless, you do the same thing either way. And then you got to get a fresh set of brackets, and you really have to make sure that they are on in the proper location. And then once you do that, you can put a big wire back in if you so choose to start working the opposite direction. Now, luckily, your body is pretty good. You have these things called little PDL fibers that are like stretchy bungee cords. So they're gonna wanna go back to where they were, hopefully. But once you've moved the teeth this far through the bone, that is a long way to go back. And so that is a really, really tough one. Another thing you can do is once you get to a bigger wire, you can actually torque the wire back down this way and put more torque on it that way. That could help as well. But still, what a mess. And this is a big, big issue that we're gonna see more and more of these basement braces stuff pop up. You're gonna see more and things like this happening all the time, which is very unfortunate. Someone says, yo, this is frying me. The search says Kimura teeth. What is Kimura teeth? I don't even know what Kimura teeth is. Someone said, how y'all feeling to look when you get braces by Bria? Totally true and unfortunate. And someone makes a good comment there. Bubbly Beauty says, but that like didn't happen overnight. And that is so true. And this is why it's so good to go to professional, because mistakes happen. Sometimes the brackets are misplaced wrong, or sometimes they got put in upside down or whatever. Mistakes happen. But luckily you're going to a trained orthodontist every 8 to 10 weeks. They're going to notice this really quickly and say, oh yeah, we're going to fix that and re-change it and flip it around. If you're leaving and going to somebody who's like, oh yeah, I just said it and forget to see me in 6 months to a year, well then all of a sudden you're going to come back and you're going to have this big issue and you're going to be like, what the heck? But yeah, of course, if you're having issues like this, you need to tell your orthodontist if anything is going wrong outside of your head. I get questions asked to me all the time from people. Some people go way above and beyond, ask every little micro question possible, and that's great because I want to educate them and make sure they're super comfortable in what's going on. And unfortunately, you're just not going to get that, and then over time, it's going to cause issues like this. Needless to say, understanding, maybe you should just go to an orthodontist for your braces. Alrighty, I got tagged a ton in this one. Looks like we got old Jakey Paul with some crazy titanium jaws. Now that it looks insane, obviously on the front, and that's probably why this has 150 million views, but I can tell you right now, my brother Paul here does not have these in his mouth. That is actually AI, as we all know now. It's kind of crazy that AI has gotten this good. The crazier part is this has actually happened before, just not on on Jake Paul, but on a canine, actually. They're dogs. Now, yes, we do know that Jake Paul got in that fight. He actually broke his jaw in 2 different places, and a lot of people don't know this. He actually lost a tooth in the middle of the crack. I think it was his lower left molar or something like that. And there's even been people like Kanye West and stuff who have gotten titanium grills and the stuff like that. But no, he did not get that. He just got some plates. He got it all fixed up. He's all good to go. But what I was trying to tell you is there was actually Secret Service dogs. So a lot of police canines, what they do is they will actually remove the canines on these dogs because they'll bite so much that they end up breaking them off, and they replace them with titanium implants on these dogs so that when they go biting into criminals and other bad guys, they literally can physically not break. And so while Jake Paul does not necessarily have this, it's not saying it's never actually happened before. So let's see what they said in the comments. It's funny, Jake Paul in 2027. You know, the fun fact is we probably will be getting more and more machine-like as things go. That's going to be really interesting to see what advances come about that stuff, because you know, we're going to have people with like supersonic jaws that can like crush anything. That's going to be an insane. Some people say, how people believe this crap? Well, I mean, it's true. AI is getting better, and it's, guess what? It's just going to keep getting better until you eventually don't even know if I'm real or not. Either way, it's just a couple years away till we're all terminators. When we finally use retainers after not doing so for that's funny. And then the words say the wobbly wiggly wobbly wiggly. Okay, I get it. Now, one, I'm realizing you guys don't wear your retainers, which is insane to me with how much money you guys spend on braces. But the question is, why does this happen? Why are they wiggly, and why did they move in the first place? Well, they're because of this little trampoline in your teeth. That's right, your teeth are basically a trampoline to your face bone. They actually don't sit directly fused to your bone. They actually are movable and they bounce around. That's why they have some movement to them, because they are surrounded by all these little fibers called PDL fibers. These are periodontal ligaments. And you see, when your teeth is set crooked, those PDL fibers are set in their way. And when you turn them, those fibers stretch. And when you're done with braces, they want to bounce back to where those springs used to be. And so that's why we have you wear your retainers for 3 months nonstop, and then nighttime for quite a few years after that, like 5 to 10, to get your bone to solidify and those fibers to kind of loosen up and stretch out so they're less likely to bounce back. The more crowded you are, the more the fibers stretch, the more likely you're going to have relapse on those teeth. And obviously, if you don't wear your retainer and then you go back into wearing your retainer and you wear it for a few things, well, guess what? You're going to start to move those teeth again, and they're going to get loose, because the way that those PDL fibers work is that you move the teeth. Whenever they get shortened, they actually cause the bone to dissolve, and when they get stretched and lengthened, they actually cause the bone to grow to make it back to that perfect level of stretch again. So if you wear them again, you're going to get the same things you would get at the very start of braces. You would get some soreness, and your teeth would get a little wiggly. Now, over time, as she wears those retainers, that teeth will shift back slowly, almost like a little mini Invisalign treatment, and then eventually, if she wears it long enough, it will stabilize in that position, and it will be solid again. Or, you know, you could just wear your retainers from the start and never have to go through this. We got Umbrella says, please never stop wearing your retainer. I regret it so bad. And yeah, that's true. I mean, you could just wear it. Unfortunately, as much as I love the permanent retainer effect of having those bonded retainers on there to where you don't have to wear them, they cause a lot of issues. They break, they're hard to clean, and so just wear your retainer at night and take it out and do a good job. Clean it, wear it, do it, activate like a night guard, almost as protecting your teeth from wearing stuff. I mean, just do what you're supposed to do. In case that I haven't worn my retainer since April, I have accepted my fate. I'm going to accept your credit card again when you get your second form of braces in a couple of years, when you're ready to do it all over again. No, seriously, if you really want to do this, when they're moving a little bit, you can actually re-get them to go back with your retainer. If you wait forever and too long, there's a point of no return, and then you're going to have to go back into braces again to fix it, which is what I actually don't want, interestingly enough. I don't want your money. I want you to actually wear your retainer and enjoy your braces and the hard work that we put in there to give you the Hollywood smile that you asked for over those 2 years. Well, that's all I got for this week. Bye!